What's going on, knuckleheads? This is the Fighters Rep, and this is our official KSI versus Logan Paul Post Fight reaction discussion. And we are talking about a split decision that just went down right here down the street at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. All I can say is I can't unwatch that. I've already watched it, and that was, my goodness, that was, I don't know whether to be mortified, whether to laugh. Either way, it brought a lot of excitement to the sport. It brought millions of new sets of eyes, perhaps, to the sport, which is a good thing. But the fight itself and the referee taking away 2 points for Logan Paul's, uppercut and alleged hitting KSI on the ground, it just seemed very off. Nonetheless, I thought, they did seem like they were swinging at each other. They looked better than they did last time out. They looked a lot more skilled. Logan Paul's energy didn't drain at the end of the fight like it typically does. KSI, though, was throwing right-hand haymakers over and over and over again. He was just spamming the right-hand haymakers. If I'm Logan Paul, I would have done what Shannon Briggs told him to do, which was to shoot the 1-2 over and over again because he was having success with the jab. I also thought Logan Paul was having great success with the uppercut up the middle whenever KSI was closing the distance, but Paul didn't seem to really be throwing a lot of punches. I felt like in the first half of the fight, he was just trying to conserve his energy. And in the second half of the fight, he just wasn't doing enough to win the fight, especially taking into consideration that bullshit call from the referee where, he uppercutted the guy. He uppercutted KSI, dropped him, and then allegedly hit him while he was down, which he didn't. And then the whole show that went on afterwards, where, they stood in front of each other and they were all friends, and Shannon Briggs and a KSI trainer, now they're friends as well, Vidal or whatever his name is. It just came off, again, I appreciate very much the fact that this brought a lot of new eyes into boxing, but I mean, for me, this looked extremely, extremely staged in many aspects. I do think, obviously, they were swinging at each other throughout the fight, but for the referee to take away 2 points like that, man, that was extremely disturbing to me. I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the day, I thought KSI should win. I thought if this wasn't totally staged, which I'm not sure it wasn't, I think KSI won that fight. I thought he was landing a lot more big right hands. I also thought, he got that knockdown, which wasn't ruled a knockdown. It was ruled a slip, but I think it should have counted as a knockdown because he hit Logan Paul behind the ear, which is a legal shot, and dropped him. I just thought KSI was much more aggressive. Logan Paul was the more technical boxer, and I typically favor that, but I just felt like KSI was a lot more effective and aggressive. At the end of the day, though, guys, I really, it does bring a lot more eyes to the sport, but I thought it kind of cheapened the sport at the same time. And that's just my opinion. You can hate me for it because parts of it seemed extremely staged. Boxing already has this staged kind of sort of reputation that we're always calling out here, or rather a corrupt reputation. And I'm not sure this really helped, especially for the hardcore fans. I think they're kind of going to see this and be like, what the fuck am I watching? But anyway, let's take a look at the chat, see what everybody else thinks about it. Obviously, there were other fights on the card with Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders fighting a garbage man and a barber, respectively. And those fights basically went as predicted, although the Garbage Man and the Barber put up more of a fight than I thought they would, but ultimately lost with the guy Billy Joe Saunders fought actually getting finished. So before we continue, please subscribe if you like to talk about combat sports. Click the bell notification icon next to the subscribe button below. Please donate to the chat. It's much appreciated. Help us grow the channel and grow the sport, combat sports, especially Fighters Rep Promotions, which is our promotion, the only kickboxing promotion in the entire state of California. If you purchase anything from the links below, you'll also be helping us invest back into our promotion. Again, the only kickboxing promotion in the state of California. So, Jamaican Boxing in the chat, thank you, brother. He says KSI. Obviously, he was going for KSI. And yes, he did get the win. John Wick said, man, that was an awesome fight. KSI definitely won. But he got that knockdown, shaking my head. But hey, a win is a win. Logan Paul is a crybaby. Marco Martinez says, bullshit, George. No one who watched this event who has never watched a fight before will watch boxing again. Dang, Marco Martinez. You might be right about that, though. Then we have John Wick say, and Briggs. Oh, man, let's go, Cramps. LMMFAO. James Doherty, thanks for joining again. John Wick, you too. James Doherty says, draw should have been. Both men gave it their all, but both should not fight on at pro level again. Yeah, that was rough to watch at times. Zachary Golovos, thanks for joining the chat, brother. Much appreciated. He says, terrible call. Which one are you referring to, Zachary? Let me know. Was it that ridiculous 2 points deducted for the uppercut, or was it the punch behind the ear that should have been ruled a knockout that wasn't? Also, a ridiculous call today was when the referee basically stopped that Bobby Batista fight. I thought he should have let that go too. Ray Corona, that's who it was. I thought that was a bit much. The L Stick, thanks so much for subscribing, brother. Much appreciated. Boxing's biggest fraud, Ego wrote, KSI should call out Usyk. My goodness, what Usyk would do to these people. You watch this, you can't even, how do you even watch Usyk after this? You got to give your eyes a break to watch Usyk after this debauchery that we just watched. You have to pour vinegar in your eyes and clear them out, and then give yourself some time to be ready to watch quality boxing again after watching that. That was horrific, you guys. John Wick said, Logan, if he let his hands go and countered more, it definitely could have won. Yep, I agree. Marco Martinez said that fight was hot garbage. The event was hot garbage. Nobody cared about anyone on the undercard, not even the fighters. John Wick, he hit him when he was down. I guess so. Jamaican Boxing had KSI winning rounds 1, 2, 3, and 6. I guess so. Ganja Claus, thank you so much for joining the chat, brother. Please subscribe. Click that bell notification icon. It's much appreciated. He says, fuck Logan, but he should have won. So, Ganja, you thought Logan should have got the decision, even with the 2 points deducted? I just think that's very hard with those ridiculous 2 points deducted for him to have won that fight. Either way, I can't unwatch that. I feel like I need eye drops or something. That was ridiculous. James Doherty says, at least Billy Joe got the knockout. That's true. Billy Joe Saunders did get the knockout. And I just feel like the Nikita Bobby fight should have kept going. I didn't like that it was stopped so quick. Marco Martinez says, Eddie Hearn is a joke. Matchroom Boxing is a joke. The Zone is complete garbage. My goodness, that is an angry, hardcore fight fan right there going off. Jamaican Boxing, my brother, said this. Jamaican Boxing says this was way more legit than Canelo Kovalev. Oh my God. If you guys think that this fight was more legit, less fixed than the Canelo Kovalev fight, hit one. Smash that one button. Let me see him. Let me get that vote. Marco Martinez says Billy Joe Saunders looked like dog shit. Yeah, I mean, he really didn't look good fighting that taxi cab driver today. Jamaican boxing, every time KSI swings, I felt a gust of wind pass my face. Dude, he was throwing those Deontay Wilder windmill punches, my man, except minus all the skill and power. Marco Martinez, Devin Haney fought a bum, and whoever that white chocolate guy was fighting a guy who cleans McDonald's after closing. You see, and you guys get on me for this shit. I'm always on here calling out the boxing corruption, the corruption of the establishment. People want to give me shit for doing that. But am I not warranted? Look what they just did to the sport. Oh, wait a minute. So check it out. So last week, right? Canelo takes a knee to the UFC and boxing gets dropped. But I felt like after what we just watched there, boxing might have gotten knocked out to the point where it's never again going to recover. I may be, a little extreme with that one. But that's the way it is. It's not looking good. And yeah, that wasn't great. Let's see here. Ginger Giant says, "What's cracking, people? What's up, brother? Much appreciated. Thanks for being in the chat, my man." Let's see here. Biggest boxing fraud ego says Billy Joe's not ready for Canelo. After tonight's performance, he sure as hell ain't. But let me tell you, Billy Joe Saunders that is, running on all cylinders, is a good fighter, and I just don't think we saw that tonight. Marco Martinez says Ray Corona wasn't having any of that. Yeah, he should have had some of that. Imagine what he would have done to the KSI fight, considering what the Jack Reese did. I mean, if Jack Reese was taking away 2 points, Ray Corona might have taken away a touchdown for that shit. James Doherty, Billy Joe will fight better against better boxers. He's always been the same. You're right about that, James Doherty. I've noticed that. A Ginger Giant, what's cracking? Love over narcissism. My brother says this was actually a good fight, bro. It was entertaining. They suck, but who cares? I mean, it was entertaining, but man, does it damage the sport a little bit, right? I mean, when people see all this staged ridiculousness in a sport that's already, horribly stained with the taint of fraud and corruption, does it help or does it hinder? I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Krishna Kim says we need to find more YouTube beef and have them fight on Fighters Rep. I agree with that. Maybe they want to do a kickboxing match. I'll reach out to Logan Paul. Masedi Maduna too. Thanks for joining the chat, brother. He says the 2 points that they took off Logan were harsh as fuck. Well, KSI did the same thing. It was really harsh. I don't know why they would do that. Other than to completely rig the fight. That's the only explanation I have, is that was completely rigged. Ginger Giant, Billy Joe Saunders doesn't show up when he doesn't have a challenge. I literally don't need to see him in any fight until he gets one of the big ones. I agree with that. The Pope 2.0, thanks so much for joining the chat, brother. Much appreciated. He says, I had KSI winning 1, 2, and 6. Weird deduction. Should have been a draw. I agree with that, the Pope. I agree with that, brother. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and click the bell notification icon next to it. Much appreciated. Also, this is a channel where we go live almost every day at 9 p.m. Pacific, and after all the big fights. That's why we're here right now. We're also Fighters Rep Promotions, our own kickboxing promotion, the only kickboxing promotion in the state of California. We got free fights all over this channel that you guys can watch for free. So help us continue to build. You can donate. You can buy your gear from Fighters Rep. The links below. Anything you do helps. Everybody hitting that one button saying that they felt like this fight was it less rigged or more rigged than Canelo? I can't even remember anymore. Marco Martinez says, I'm not as bothered by the main event. That fight wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but you had a real opportunity to build fans with some good fights, and they didn't put on one. My goodness, you're right about that, brother. Jamaican boxing, Thank you so much for the generosity, brother. He wrote, I bet $30 and won $80, so I'll buy the chat around. Thank goodness for your gambling addiction, Jamaican boxing, and your generosity, brother. That's why you're a moderator, and I appreciate you very much. I hope people learn to emulate your behaviors, both naughty and nice. James Doherty also put a 1. Ginger Giant says KSI would take Canelo out in 2 rounds. Wow. The Pope 2.0. At least it wasn't more fixed. Canelo versus Triple G. That was rigged. My goodness. United SC. Thanks for joining the chat, brother. He says Trump 2020. You know, I do think that if Elizabeth Warren wins the Democratic nomination, you will see Trump again in 2020. You heard that here. The only person, in my opinion, that can beat Trump in an election, and I'm only going to say this once because we don't get political on this, and I'm not taking sides, but I think the only person that can beat him is Bernie Sanders. I don't think Elizabeth Warren can beat Donald Trump. She's too much of a centrist, typical Democrat. Ginger Giant says Guatemalan carpet fitters on standby at the Zone head office. So horrible, dude. Harp MX says Logan should have won. I agree. Without those, 12 points taken away from him, he would have probably won. But, oh well. Marco Martinez says, cheers. Jamaican Boxing says, I told you Eddie Germs. Good name. You must be in Zen mode right now, Jamaican Boxing. Be coming up with all these slick names. Says, I told you Eddie Germs wasn't good for boxing. You know what? That was not the best for boxing. I thought it would be good because we'd get a lot of eyes on the sport. But with all the shenanigans that went down in that fight before and after, I don't know, you guys. I don't know, James. James Doherty wrote, boxing is officially on the ropes. Boxing's on the ropes like this right now, my man. And George Foreman is coming in with a right hand loaded, ready to unload on boxing right now. That's what it's looking like in my mind right now, James Doherty. Hussein Afridi, thanks for joining the chat, my brother. Much appreciated. Click subscribe if you haven't already. We do this almost every night at 9 p.m. Talk about the fights, and we go live. He says, bro, Logan won 100%. I do think he should have won that fight, without the point deduction. But, I just felt like he should have been more aggressive considering the point deduction, right? I mean, I thought KSI got the nod, rightfully so, especially when you take into consideration that 2-point deduction. But, KSI was just busier, doing more, despite the fact that, he had that 2-point advantage. I mean, I felt like Logan needed to do more, and he just wasn't doing enough. So you got to give it to KSI, but it's a bullshit call, that 2-point deduction. Although at the same time, KSI's punch to the back of Logan Paul's ear should have been counted a knockdown. So, whatever. Marco Martinez says, Bellator will put on a freak show every now and then, but at least they put on quality fights around the card. Guys, somebody buy Marco Martinez a drink because he is really pissed off right now. Swaggy Taggy 420, thanks for joining the chat, brother. Much appreciated. He said, didn't intend to be up for this. One of the reasons I watch boxing as religiously as I do is so I can share the stories of today's fighters when I have kids, like my old man did with Ali, Frazier, and Foreman. God willing, my children will never hear the names KSI and Logan Paul. Oh, man. McFetty says it was stolen from Logan. McFetty, absolutely, it was stolen from Logan. Logan should have won that fight. Logan deserved to win that fight, but that 2-point deduction from that ornery Jack Reese just screwed everything up for us. But what are we going to do? Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. The Pope 2.0 says, dude, you act like Canelo versus Triple G wasn't rigged. Both fights. The decision was probably rigged, but the actual fight itself I don't think was. I think they were trying to kick each other's ass. But I think the decision was probably rigged. Not probably, was rigged in favor of Canelo the first time for sure. The second time I thought was more reasonable. Jay Kim says classic fix was done in. Much appreciated, Jay Kim, and I think you're right about that, brother. Gamma Ray, thanks for joining, brother. He says, I think the judges just had one goal, to not let it be a draw. It seemed that way too, you know. I think it would have looked, it's weird because I feel like it would have looked too fishy to be a draw again. So in their effort to prevent it from looking too fishy, they made the whole thing even fishier. It's very ironic. Fawaz MG, thanks for joining the chat, brother. He says, I think Logan won, but when they took from Logan 2 points, yep, that was a wrap, my man, when they took those 2 points away. McFetty says, I'd rather have it be a draw than rigged for someone. I agree with that, and if I'm being honest, I don't think it'll ever not be rigged for someone in this situation. Jay Kim says, when is fight number 3? Well, it looks like Logan Paul wants it, according to the post-fight interview, but KSI doesn't. He says it's done. He's happy with the result, obviously, and he's moving on. Swaggy Taggy 420 says, I think Jack Reese is one of the best refs on the planet and he deserves respect. I think it was a fair call to award the knockdown and deduct the points. Not an easy situation for a ref to be in. You're right that it's not an easy situation for a ref to be in, but to deduct 2 points, I think, was a bit much. Obed Charles, it's not rigged. Logan hit him when he was down. He tried to hit him when he was down. I don't think it connected from what I saw. And to take away 2 points, I don't know. It just, I've rarely ever seen 2 points get taken away, especially when you're dealing with two guys that don't know what they're doing. I mean, you want to give them a little leeway. Just give them a warning. Tell them not to do that again. Right off the bat, you take away 2 points. It just stinks like fish to me, brother. Marco Martinez says, let's be real. That uppercut by Logan Paul was pretty sick, and the dirty boxing is worthy of a Bellator shot in the next DAZN event. You're right. He'll probably get a Bellator fight next. AJ Guerin says, don't forget Joe Biden. Well, yeah, but he's not going to win. That guy's got no shot. United SC, I agree. I don't know what he's agreeing with. Please let me know what you're agreeing with. Sorry, I get through these comments a little slow sometimes. Gamma Ray says, I'm at least educated in boxing, but the only rigged part of the judges had was they probably made it so it wasn't a draw. Well, still a rig. A rig's a rig. If you feel like that's the only rig, a rig's still a rig, brother. Appreciate you joining the chat, though, and your contribution. Marco Martinez says, great. First we get this horrendous event. Now George is hosting a show on KFI AM radio. Jamaican Boxing says, guys, let's not forget the bigger picture here. The fight was shit, but in reality, it would be better if we stop killing each other as human beings and start putting on a pair of boxing gloves. I agree with that 1,000%. Emmanuel Kant says, good fun. He hit him twice down. Thanks for joining the chat, Emmanuel. Much appreciated, brother. Always love to have you in here. Harry Glover says, I feel like it's easy for you to sit and chat shit about the YouTube lads when I sat there for 4 hours, watched so-called professionals do fuck all. I watched to be entertained, and I was in the last fight. Too easy to sit and chat shit when professional boxers did fuck all. You know, you're right about that, Glover. But the problem is, it's not the professional boxers that did fuck all. I mean, it sort of was. It's that, you know, you got guys in there fighting minus 10,000 favorites. Both Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders were minus 10,000 favorites. So as a fighter, you're going in there to fight a minus 10,000 favorite, especially a guy like Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, what's your motivation? Are you even motivated for that fight? Do you even give a fuck to be there? You know, that's what we call out in this channel all the time, man. Yeah, we're here to be entertained. I agree with you 100%, but how are you going to make an entertaining fight when one guy, you know, one guy's horrible and is a 10,000 to 1 underdog? I mean, I don't get it. And then, yeah, we were entertained by the last fight, but I mean, it looked like WWE, my man. Like, that's not going to help the sport, you know? So, yeah, we were entertained, but does that help the sport, or does that add more of a shit reputation to an already corrupted sport that, you know, we're both complaining about here? I appreciate your insight, though. Emmanuel Kant, they didn't do their road work. And they only went 6 rounds, and you know, that's what we saw. But, you know, I wouldn't do it, so I got to give him credit for that. Logan lost the first 3. Worst case, it should have been a draw with a knockdown both ways, says Jamaican Boxing. Emmanuel Kant says, white chocolate ain't no joke. You know, I agree. I like that kid, and I've been watching that kid a while. I just wish Ray Corona wouldn't have stopped that fight. They should have let that fight keep going, and it would have been an awesome fight. You know, he should have let a Bobby finish that fight. I think a Bobby would have. Obed Charles says, that's right, KSI's knockdown should have counted, for sure. Johannes R2005, thanks for joining the chat, brother. He says, no, KSI deserves to win that match. He thinks KSI deserved to win. Whiskey Dragonfly, my brother, says, peace, peace, family. Just came through to eat my crow about Zabit versus Qatar. I told you Zabit was going to get that win. Devin was supposed to KO in spectacular fashion. Loma and Tank's PR team is going to hella shit about Devin now. I agree with that big time, man. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders next. I hope so. Hopefully Billy Joe actually trains for that guy, because that performance tonight was boring. Jamaican Boxing. How would he win the fight and the knockdown wasn't called? Come on, man. That's a draw. Sin Dre Dog says, imagine if it was MMA. Oh, man, that would be a lot of fun. Hey, guys, if you're new to the channel, appreciate you. We do this almost every night at 9 p.m. Pacific and after all the big fights. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification icon. Help us build the channel. And in doing so, you're also helping us build Fighters Rep Promotions. We're the only kickboxing promotion in the whole state of California. Some of the best talent in the world here. So it'd be much appreciated. Also, if you donate to the Super Chat or get your Fighters Rep gear in the links below, or use the Amazon affiliate link, that'll help us out too, and it's much appreciated. Let's see here. Johannes R2005 says, KSI won round 1, 2, 3, and 6. Logan Paul won round 4 and 5. Jamaican Boxing says, KSI throw way more power punches than Kovalev. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jamaican Boxing, the sad part is, I think you might be right about that. Marco Martinez, in between round 3 and 4, Logan Paul walked back to his corner. Shannon Briggs' first words to him were, what the fuck you doing? Should have asked Eddie Hearn that instead. Boxing Biggest Fraud Eagle says, Logan Paul sold more tickets than Wilder. Oh, that one. That's gonna cause some butt pain in this chat room. Jamaican Boxer said, Logan reminds me of my uncle, big and worthless. Oh my God. You know what this Logan Paul reminds me of? I don't know if you guys ever played Ready to Rumble on Sega Dreamcast. And there was that guy, that Croatian fighter in Ready to Rumble. And he kind of like fought like that with his hands down, and he looked like a big goofy Logan Paul. And I don't know, every time I looked at Logan Paul, I kept thinking of the Croatian guy from Ready to Rumble. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the only one that played that game with all these young bucks in this chat. Marco Martinez says, come on, guys, rigged. Y'all wearing tinfoil hats. Next, you're all flat earthers. Oh, God. Cal Blundell, thank you so much for joining the chat, brother. Much appreciated. He says JJ won 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I guess 5, but he wrote 3 again. Oh, no. He says 3 was a 10-8 for JJ, and round 4 was a 10-8 for JJ with the point deduction, and he won round 5 and 6. Domination from KSI. He was victorious, as he says in his post-fight speech. James Doherty says, Eddie Hearn is scanning YouTube for the next big fight night. This is the future. God help us. Hey, man, he wants to make some money, brother. Yoeli Santos, thank you for joining the chat, brother. Much appreciated. It says, how do you take away 2 points on a 6-round fight? Come on, money under the table right there. As a boxing fan, I've seen worse things happen in other fights, and no points were taken away. I agree, man. That 2-point deduction was, I mean, he might as well have pulled out a fish and slapped me with it. It was so fishy. United SC, what you said about my comment, and by the way, that fight was more rigged than the 2016 Democratic nomination. Yup, the one they rigged against your boy Bernie. They did Bernie nasty, man. And you know what? Bernie could learn something from these YouTubers and stand up and fight for himself instead of, going out to that debate and saying, oh, me and Joe Biden, we're really good friends. Dude, stand up and fight for yourself, bro. These people rigged a nomination against you, my man. Tripping. Sin Dre Dog says, that's one reason why I hate boxing, man. There's too many freaking rules. MMA would have been better. Well, I mean, MMA's got a lot of rules too, and if they want to rig MMA, then I'm sure they can rig MMA too. You know what I mean? That was ridiculous. The referee could have taken away 2 points in MMA the same. In fact, in MMA, they could have just faked a kick to the nuts, and done it that way. Who knows? Who knows what they could have done? Or maybe had a phantom tap out controversy or something. You never know. Emmanuel Kant says, Coceres trainers should have told him to beware and stick to the game plan. Yeah, he was messing around too much at the end there. Gamma Ray says, again, not a big boxing expert, but if KSI's knockdown that wasn't called was called, and if Logan didn't get the 2-point deduction, does the fight turn out differently? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I believe Logan Paul wins. If that's the case, I got to look at the score again. Or it's a draw. I think it's a draw if that's the case. Splicer B says, bro, if people are arguing about the 2-point deduction, then KSI's knockdown should have counted. Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree that the knockdown should have counted. The 2-point deduction shouldn't have happened. And if that's the case, then I think we probably get a draw. Paul Datskiv says, okay, boomer. I'm not a boomer, you son of a bitch. Thanks for joining the chat, though. Much appreciated. Marco Martinez says, I feel as though the refs didn't want anything to do with this event, thus the odd rulings. Ray knew that the McDonald's janitors wanted out after he tried to lay on the floor. Guy wanted out. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, Marco, like, totally, man. That was ridiculous, dude. The guy first lays on the floor to try to get a disqualification win against Nikita Bobby. Then he stands up and wants to punch after the bell over and over again. Come on, man. Gaming Jai says, how long the contesting gonna last? I don't know what you mean by that, Gaming Jai. Please explain. Ben Dev says, KSI sold more. Let's go cry, champ. Let's go hide, champ. Let's go rant, champ. Patrick Starr says, JJ's knockdown should have counted. Logan was close to admitting it in the end. Yeah, I saw that. When they showed it to him from that second angle. He couldn't really say, oh, that was a slip or whatever it was. He had to concede that one in a, very ambiguous way. Emmanuel Kant said, you should fight Ben Shapiro. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, man, I would knock Ben Shapiro out in one punch. He looks like a wee man, but, I got respect for that guy, so I'm not calling him out or nothing like that. Milan Miko says, shouldn't KSI knockdown count too? It's a draw then. Ha, yeah, exactly, Milan. You're totally right about that, my brother. Hey, guys, if this is your first time joining the channel, we do this almost every night at 9 p.m. We talk about combat sports, so feel free to click that subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. This is the only boxing channel that's basically not tribal and biased. So we just tell it how we feel it is, and we accept everybody's opinion, no matter what it is. So much appreciated. So let's see. Alexander B says, how do you feel about this? I think it's BS. I'm not a fan of both. I think Logan won clearly. I think Logan would have won without all the deductions and stuff, but without the 2-point deduction, Logan would have won. But then you also have to take into consideration that KSI's knockdown should have counted. So it should have been a draw if it was all ruled fairly. United SC says, I'm going to head out, man. Have a good night, you too, brother. Thank you so much for joining, my man. Zureib Gori says, bro, Logan won. I don't know about that, my man. Kevin from Chicago says, Jack Reese is a Jew. Well, I mean, who cares? Who gives a shit? Where he is or what he is. He just, the problem is he messed up in his choice of deducting 2 points and not counting the knockdown. That's what's important. Let's see here. Donnie R says it was obvious who had better boxing and it wasn't KSI. For sure, I agree with that. But KSI was much more aggressive, and Logan Paul, knowing that he was down 2 points with that deduction, should have been the aggressor, and that's why he lost, I think. Gaming for fun, Logan lost fair and square. I think if we're being fair and square, KSI's knockdown counts. The 2 point deduction doesn't happen. And KSI and Logan Paul have another draw. If the KSI knockdown counts and the Logan Paul deduction is 1 point instead of 2, then I think... See, now I can't even do the math anymore. Then Logan Paul maybe wins. Yeah, Logan Paul wins. So there you go. Gaming for fun. Logan lost fair and square. That was my answer to that. Donnie R says, no jab, no footwork, wild loopy punches. I agree, my man. He was throwing those Deontay Wilder punches all night. Alexander B says, KSI hit him in the back of the head on that knockdown. No, my man. It was behind the ear. Behind the ear counts in boxing. You can hit behind the ear. You can't hit behind the head. Alex Jones says, just subbed and I was NR2000. Logan is crying right now. And Great Britain is partying like there's no tomorrow. Appreciate that, Alex. Thank you so much, brother. He says, Alexander B says, Donnie R facts. Donnie R says, let's see here. At least Logan Paul had okay footwork and fight behind the jab and threw straight punches. James Doherty said, I think we might see mixed MMA boxing in the future with first round boxing only. Then next round MMA rules, etc. That would be crazy. There's actually a promotion out here in California, an amateur promotion that was doing that. And I thought it was kind of weird. Balino, thank you so much for joining the chat, brother. KSI won by split decision in a very controversial decision. Gaming for fun with both knockdowns counted, KSI still won. Jamaican Boxing, again, thank you so much for the generosity, brother. He says another round for the chat. Hey, feel free to emulate Jamaican Boxing's generosity, you guys. Again, much appreciated, my man. Thank you for helping us build the channel and build the promotion, my man. Alexander B says Logan would have won, or I don't know what he's referring to there. Splicer B says KSI went all out in the early rounds. Yeah, man, he sure did. Cam's Politics and Vlogs wrote, fuck off, champ. All right. Let's see here. Emmanuel Khan, how about you and Chank from Young Turks or Alex Jones? Oh, my God. Gaming for Fun is saying Alexander's delusional because he thinks Logan won that fight. I mean, it was a close fight. It had not had all the BS, staged crap or ridiculous rulings not happened. It could have gone either way, but I think with the 2 point deduction, you got to give it to KSI. I mean, a freaking 2 point deduction is a big deal in a 6-round fight. Cam's Politics and Vlog says, okay, so happy JJ won. He put so much work into this, and he deserves it more than Logan for sure. Gaming for Fun says, who do you think won? I think KSI won. Robin Willman, I don't understand why he didn't warn Logan. Me neither. But I do understand, actually. It's because this whole thing was a rigged shit show. Steve Vasquez says, let's all be glad this is over. And they made up. Why is that? I mean, was someone going to, try to hurt somebody? I don't know what's going on here. Base Nowitzki, thanks for joining the chat, brother. Much appreciated. Thanks for joining you too, Steve Vasquez, and all the new people in here. Much appreciated. We do this almost every night at 9, guys. You're all welcome here. Appreciate you guys being here. Base Nowitzki says KSI was more aggressive. I agree. I think he was way more aggressive. Marco Martinez says, say what you want, but numbers don't lie. 56 people in the chat means people are probably seeking out conversations about this fight. Your subs are going over 2K tonight if they haven't already. I hope so, my man. I hope so. Alexander B says, gaming for fun. No need to come at me, mate. All respect in this chat. That's right. That's what we do on this channel. It's all respect, guys. So let's keep it cool. You can say what you want, but at the end of the day, you know, if you're going to insult someone, do it in fun as tough love. You know, bust each other's balls all you want. But let's leave it there. Ebonix33 saying Logan didn't counter. I agree. You know, he really didn't. He really didn't counter. I wish he would have countered more with that left hand as KSI was coming in with a big overhand right. He should have countered more with the left or, you know, thrown the uppercut. He was having success with that when he threw it. Alexander B says, I just think he won clearly. Gaming for fun. Look at the punches landed and significant strikes. Well, yeah, but Alexander B, we also got to take into consideration the 2-point deduction, my man. Let's see, TGK Turbo saying, seriously, this looked more like a draw than the last fight. Last fight should be KSI and this one draw. Base Nowitzki saying Logan was in first gear the whole fight like he was sparring. I agree with that. I felt like he was carrying KSI for a second there. Kevin from Chicago. What happened to Kevin from Chicago, Marco? Explain that one to me, brother. Donnie R says, so how about Saunders? What was going on with him tonight? He definitely isn't ready for Canelo. He was struggling against a mid-level boxer. I expected more from him. He always does that. Excuse me. He always does that when he fights people that don't deserve to be in there with him. He can't get motivated. He can't get up for the big fights, Donnie R. That's how Saunders is. So I do want to see him fight Canelo. Cam's Politics and Vlog says 6:30 a.m. in England, and I'm going to start drinking to celebrate. Go for it, my man. Robert Terrence says, my fucking boy won. KSI, yup, if that's your boy, then he won. Usaino FFG says, KSI, let's go. It's just YouTube at the end of the day. That's right. Gamma Ray, the judges probably weren't trying to appeal to the boxing fans. I think they were just trying to get a result. A draw would have been a worse result for all of their followers. Maybe. Robert Terrence, it's 6 in the morning, but I don't care. Hey, get your party on, champ. Get your party on. And thank you guys for subscribing. It looks like Magic Eagle just subscribed, so I appreciate that. Thank you, my man. Alexander B. Let's see. He says, true, Usaino. Marco Martinez says, sorry, guys, but let's keep the racism down. It's unnecessary. Yeah, no. I'm not into the racist stuff, you guys. There are a bunch of racist boxing channels on YouTube. You guys can check those out. You know, that's not how we get down here. Jamaican boxing says effective aggression, punches landed, ring generalship, and defense. The fight was a draw. Robert Tarrant, I hope JJ will fight Jake to shut Jake up. Oh my God. Now it's gonna be Jake Paul getting revenge for his brother. Gamma Ray saying YouTube boxing is more about not losing than winning, probably. Jinum, thank you so much for joining the chat, brother. He says, what's your opinion, fighters? Rep, who won? Fair. I think that, you know, if you take into consideration the point deduction, you know, and the fact that the knockdown of Logan Paul wasn't ruled a knockdown, you know, as is what we have on its face, I think you got to give it to KSI. I mean, getting 2 points deducted from you in a fight like that is devastating when it's only 6 rounds. So I think it's fair that KSI got the decision, but I thought the 2 points was too much. At the same time, I also thought KSI's knockdown should have been counted. So who knows? Robert Terrence saying it ain't rigged. Yeah, we won't agree on that one, my man. There was a lot of shady shit going on in that fight, if you ask me. I think it was just for show, though. Gaming for fun. KSI was the aggressor during the fight, 100%. I agree with that. Emmanuel Khan, okay. You and PewDiePie should fight. Just kidding. Much love, brother. See you next time. Have a good one, Emmanuel. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. The Egg is on here, and the Egg says boxing sucks ass. Well, after tonight, it's going to be hard to argue with you, my man. Gaming for fun. Says Alexander, no worries, all respect. James Doherty saying, having a winner is better as we don't have to suffer a rematch. Jamaican Boxer says, Logan lost for letting the little man walk him down. That's true. He did let that little man walk him down. Magic Eagle says Logan was pissed. You know, he didn't look all that pissed to me after the fight. I think if I lost a fight against somebody I really had beef with, I'd be a lot more pissed than that, but I don't know. The Life of a Patel says, how long does a contest last? When Logan said he was going to contest it. You know, it depends on how long the commission takes to get to it. That can be, who knows, man, when they get to it. I've actually rarely ever seen them overturn something, but I think there's a real, and I'm glad you bring that up, The Life of a Patel. I think there's a real chance here that in order to add more drama to this BS, that the commission does overturn it. The people asking who won that just joined, KSI won by split decision. You're welcome. KSI won, split decision. I'm telling you, click the subscribe button now. Donate to the chat. Show some love. Also, hit the bell notification icon and join us every night at 9 where we talk about combat sports and the corruption of boxing and combat sports. You're also helping us build the only kickboxing promotion in the whole state of California. Let's see here. So, Holy Media, thank you for joining, my man. He says, full boxing match video on my YouTube channel. Base Nowitzki says, do you cover MMA too? I absolutely do, and I have a video from earlier today where we talked about Zabit Magomed-Sharipov beating Calvin Kattar in basically a result that we thought was going to happen. We do predictions as well. We predicted Zabit to win in the fashion that he did. Donnie R says, you think Saunders gives Canelo any trouble? Then absolutely. If Billy Joe Saunders comes into the Canelo fight motivated and training the way he should, Billy Joe Saunders can beat Canelo Alvarez. That's part of the reason Canelo hasn't fought him yet, because he knows he's a dangerous, slick boxer. When you see them over the course of their career, you might not think so. You might say Canelo's a much better fighter. He's more consistent, but Billy Joe Saunders, when motivated, make no mistake, is a dangerous, slick boxer. And those are the people Canelo does the worst against. So that's why I think he's actually a problem for Canelo Alvarez if he can get motivated and stay motivated. That's a big if, though. Alex Jones, KSI looked like a human-animal hybrid out there. If you say so, Alex Jones. Gaming for fun, do you think there's a chance the 2-point deduction would be overruled? I do think there's a chance that that happens. And if that 2-point deduction is overruled, I mean, we end up with a win for Logan Paul after the fact. Just ridiculous. Gamma Ray says, I'm going to sleep. See you. See you, brother. Thank you for joining and subscribing. Much appreciated. Art Gorelli, appreciate you joining the chat, my man. He says, the ref took 2 points away, but they counted the knockdown. Yeah, but still, 2 points. 2 points is a big deal. Also, the knockdown of KSI should have been counted. I don't know. We got to go back and do the math on all of this. Who knows? Milk Jug says, not really. He put KSI into a headlock and got a free uppercut from it, and he punched KSI whilst he was on the ground afterwards. I didn't think he punched him when he was on the ground. I think he tried, but who knows? Casual Code Boxing Club, thanks for joining the chat, brother. He says, could Logan be world champ in 5 years? Fuck no, man. Logan couldn't be world champ in 5 lifetimes, my man. Art Gorelli says, how can you take 2 points away and also call it a knockdown? I don't know. That was just fucking weird, man. That was just weird. Alice SS, thanks for joining the chat, says, my favorite part was when they actually shook hands and said nice things about each other. Yes, that was very sweet and came off as very authentic. The Egg says, I'd like to see KSI versus any young rookie boxer to show the lack of skill these boys had. That'd be interesting. Art Gorelli says, Canelo is on the juice, so that's 1 point. Caio Moreira says, if they give that 2 point for Logan, they'll have to give that clean knockdown for KSI. Either way, KSI wins. Oh, my goodness. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining the chat. Before I continue here, I ask that all of you click that subscribe button and the bell notification icon next to it. Also, feel free to donate to the super chat. By doing so, you're helping us build the channel. We go live almost every day at 9 p.m. We're always talking about combat sports. We get, interviews and guests. And we also upload free fights because we are the only kickboxing promotion in the state of California. So you can watch our fights live. We actually had Anderson Silva's son fight for us at our last event. So some of the most talented young fighters in the world are fighting for us. We're very proud of it. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. Thupa Gaming says, by the way, if KSI was given his knockdown, which was stated as a slip, was weird as fuck too. I agree. That shouldn't have been a slip. That was definitely a knockdown. Art Gorelli says, email me at gorellum@gmail. Maybe I can help you out with you interviewing DW. Email me. Sounds good to me, but who's DW? Maybe I'm missing something here. Alive Juan says, bet. Simarjeet Singh, thank you for joining. Alive Juan, thank you for joining. Thupa Gaming, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Click that subscribe button if you don't mind. Simarjeet Singh says, did they actually have real beef? I guess so. I guess they did have real beef, Eternal Gamer says, shit channel. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you joining. Click that subscribe button and donate all of your money to the super chat. I'll definitely manage it better than you are. Thupa Gaming says, KSI wins. It was a good decision. It's me, Zone Free, says, I think KSI won easily. Logan mostly threw jabs, it seems. I agree with that, my man. I agree with that. I thought KSI won that easily, especially with that 2-point deduction. And then we got Sync XI. KSI won, brother. Split decision. Bit controversial. Ridiculousness occurred. What's his face? Got 2 points deducted from him. Your boy Logan Paul. Just a weird situation. Let's see here. Art Gorelli says, I came across channel a few weeks back. Grew up with Dana. Email me. gorellum@gmail.com. I will definitely do that, brother. Appreciate it. Much appreciated, man. Sync XI says, hi, who won? Again, brother, KSI won split decision. Eternal Gamers at OK99 coming your way. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated, man. Send it on over. And you know what? I'll take you out to dinner with that 99, brother. Caio Moreira says, you know why KSI he lost? Because he did an illegal. And he said something and then retracted his message. Not sure what happened there. Top comment says, I think Eddie Hearn won. And that is absolutely the top comment of the evening, 100%. So you guys, thank you so much for joining the chat. As you all know, if you haven't joined already, KSI beats Logan Paul by a split decision. We had a knockdown from KSI that should have been counted a knockdown, but instead was ruled a slip. We had a knockdown by Logan Paul against KSI that ended up being a 2-point deduction against Logan Paul and probably cost him the fight because Logan Paul grabbed KSI behind the head, hit him with an uppercut, and then when he was down, tried hitting him again. So that's what happened. We ended up with a split decision win for KSI. Very close. James Doherty says KSI was just missing the hook shot each time by about 3 feet. Eternal Gamer says, I think it was rigged the way Logan Paul fucks himself up, and Logan even said in one of the conferences, KSI made me say all this. Oh my God. Simarjeet Singh says, because when they shook hands in the ring and talked, I thought that all the beef they created was just to hype it up and was all fake. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. Sync XI says, KSI won actually, or you think, no, KSI won actually. He won according to the Boxing Commission in the state of California, CSAC. So he won the fight by split decision. That's how the referees ruled. Caio Moreira says, you know why Logan lost? Because he did an illegal shit just he did in Japan. This time he got punished for it, though. I bet he's going to respect rules from now on. Can't wait to see his career downfall. Caio, you are a gullible little bunny, bro. But thank you for joining the chat. The official Paras Ram says, I think Logan won in my head, but everyone says that KSI did. Hilarious. Dazzle Mayhem says, what about KSI knockdown? Do you think that should have been counted? Absolutely. That was a fair knockdown. Eternal Gamer says the final points were 168 for KSI, 165 for Logan, so the 2 points don't matter. That's according to Eternal Gamer, but I think Eternal Gamer, you're adding the total points. That's not the way boxing works. You got to add the points to each scorecard and then make the determination. Riley Brenton says KSI did win. Logan's knocked down so much illegal moves, he just messed up a lot. Simarjeet Singh says, let's go, champ. All right, let's go home and cry. Well, you guys, please subscribe if you haven't. I've been on for almost an hour. I appreciate you guys joining the chat. Don't forget, we do this almost every night at 9 p.m. We talk about combat sports, anything related to combat sports. Typically, we call out the corruption and BS in combat sports, and I think what we saw tonight embodied a lot of that. So a little bit ridiculous, but nonetheless, I hope you guys were entertained. Before I sign off here, the official Paras Ram says, I'm still sticking with Logan even if he loses a simple boxing match. The legend of your loyalty, the official Paras Ram, is all true, my brother. James Doherty says, at the end of the day, they both made a ton of money. No one got hurt, but they should both move on from boxing now, go back to other things. I agree. Let's see here. What do you think? Who won? Javok? KSI, I thought, won pretty fair and square. And that's all I've got for you guys. So be sure to join us tomorrow. We'll probably be on here again at 9 p.m. Pacific. We're always here around 9 p.m. Pacific. It's much appreciated. Really appreciate you guys subscribing and all that. And like, share, comment. Do everything all the nice people on YouTube do. Until then, watch any of our other videos. We have a bunch of live free fights that have been uploaded. So check them out. And hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for